moon hung heavy over the dilapidated building, its pale light casting elongated shadows that danced eerily across the cracked pavement. The rusted fire escape clung to the side of the structure like a forgotten memory, leading up to the window of a world that was once vibrant, but now lay shrouded in despair. Inside, a faint hum of static echoed through the stagnant air, intertwining with the smell of mildew and decay. Sally Face had always heard whispers about this forsaken place, where stories of sorrow bled into the walls, stories that twisted and turned like the gnarled roots of the trees that surrounded it. She made her way inside, the door creaking under her touch as if warning her to leave. But curiosity, a relentless beast, nudged her forward. After all, this was where the infamous Boiled One was said to roam, a figure wrapped in layers of dread. With each step deeper into the building, the weight of sadness pressed down upon her. She remembered the tales of children laughing in the alleys, cut short by a darkness that seeped from the cracks. Friends had told her never to enter, but in pursuing the truth behind the tales, she thought she could unearth salvation for the lost souls trapped within. The glow of her flashlight flickered, illuminating fractured walls plastered with graffiti, a tapestry of sorrowful messages, pleas for help, and crude drawings of a strange figure glaring back at her with vacant eyes. The air grew thick, almost suffocating, as if it were alive, pulsating with unseen dread. In the corner of a room covered in shadows sat a tattered old television. It flickered sporadically, casting eerie lights that danced upon the dust-laden floor. She approached, entranced, as a dynamic figure emerged on the screen. A distorted visage of the Boiled One, its skin wrinkled, glowing with a sickly hue, its grin both inviting and terrifying. "Come play," it whispered, and Sally could have sworn she felt the building itself lean closer, compelling her to heed its call. A voice broke through the haze, and she turned to find a young boy, his eyes wide and haunted. "You shouldn't be here," he choked out, stumbling back. "He sees you. He knows." His face was pale, a mirror of the fear that clawed at her insides, but curiosity gnawed at her heart. "Who? The Boiled One?" she pressed, heart racing, rooting her in place. The boy shook his head violently. "It's not the Boiled One you should be afraid of. It's what he wants." He glanced towards the flickering screen. "He wants to take you, make you one of us." With that, he lunged forward, gripping her wrist tight, desperation flooding his features. "We're trapped." The lights flickered again, and she could see the outlines of other children in the dark corners, their faces a tapestry of lost hope, eyes hollowed in weeping. The realization struck her as the environment became more compressed, walls closing in like an embrace of despair. The air shimmered, the shadows swirling around the room, and for a heartbeat, she saw it. The silhouette of a figure basking in red light. The Boiled One, its eyes bearing into her soul, whispering secrets of those who'd come before. As panic twisted in her stomach, she ripped away from the boy, running toward the only exit in sight. But the door slammed shut, as if the building itself sought to keep her there, to trap her within the depths of its melancholy. "Leave us!" the boy screamed, a final cry as the shadows engulfed him. "No!" She turned, horrified, watching as he faded into the darkness, swallowed whole by despair. The laughter of children echoed in her ears, a chorus of sorrow that tugged at her heartstrings. She pounded against the door, but the Boiled One's voice layered over the cries. "Stay with us, Sally. We are family now." Suddenly, the flickering TV blazed to life, illuminating the room with ghastly hues. The faces of her lost friends glimmered on the screen, their eyes full of darkness. "Help us," they whispered, a haunting plea that sent chills straight to her marrow. And then the whispers shifted, the shadows coalescing around her, tightening like a noose. "You've come to play. We shall be together forever." The haze of despair thickened, seeping into her very essence, and as darkness overwhelmed her, she understood. It wasn't only the Boiled One that she feared. It was the multitude of souls trapped within the walls, waiting for another to join them, forever lost. The last flickers of her vision blurred, the world fading to black as she realized with absolute horror that she had become just another whisper in the building, a shadow forever entwined with the Boiled One. As the darkness enveloped her, Sally felt the cold grip of despair seep into her bones, rooting her in place as time lost all meaning. The laughter of children swirled around her, a cacophony of joy twisted into a macabre symphony that echoed off the walls of her fading consciousness. She grasped at the fleeting memories of her friends, the warmth of sunlight on her face, but all that remained were ghostly shadows reaching out for her. In the depths of the darkness, she could feel them, the souls caught in the web of sorrow, binding her with invisible threads woven from their anguish. They clawed at her with a desperate hunger, pleading silently for release from their torment, yet somehow recognizing in her a new vessel for their despair. She felt herself drawn deeper into their collective misery, an overwhelming urge to succumb to the shadows and join them in their silent scream. Yet she fought back. "No," she gasped, her voice cracking. "I won't stay." But the darkness only tightened its grip, pulling her closer to the glowing void, the flickering visage of the Boiled One, its grotesque smile stretching wider, a sinister invitation into eternal night. A single thought pierced through the fog of despair. Save them. The boy's terrified face flashed in her mind, etched with fear and sorrow. If she could not escape, perhaps she could free the others ensnared in this wretched place, just as she wished to be saved. With every ounce of strength, she wrested herself from the clutches of the darkness. "I will not bow to you," she shouted, her voice echoing through the twisted hallways of the building. The mocking laughter shifted, becoming a cacophony of disbelief. But she pressed on. "I'll set you free. I'll bring you into the light." As if her words cast a spell, the shadows wavered. From the edges of her vision, she saw the flickering forms of the lost children shimmering with momentary hope. She reached out, feeling her fingertips brush against their terrified faces. "I can help. I can save you." The Boiled One's laughter morphed into a howl of rage, vibrant fury radiating from the TV screen, splashing sickly colors against the walls. The room twisted, a vortex of despair sucking her deeper, yet she steadied herself. In that chaotic moment, she remembered the stories, how the connections between this world and the next could bridge despair into salvation. With a raw cry, she stripped herself of fear, pouring all her will into a singular thought. "Together," she shouted. "We're stronger together." She thrust her hands towards the shimmering figures of the children, weaving a tapestry of light where darkness once reigned. In an illumination that burned brighter than any memory, their hands reached for her, fingers intertwining in a bond forged by collective suffering. Together, they turned their backs on the boiling darkness, voices harmonizing in a desperate symphony. "Let us go," the Boiled One screamed, its voice a thunderous echo that reverberated through the building, a chorus of rage from the depths of despair. The walls shook, splintering and cracking, releasing howls of anguish as the children, now illuminated by a radiant glow, began to rise, leaving behind the chains that held them captive. Sally felt the ground beneath her tremble as cracks erupted like a quaking heartbeat. The flickering shadows fought back, but they were too late. The light expanded, consuming darkness, dissolving the twisted forms of despair surrounding her like mist. The Boiled One wailed, a cacophony of rage and terror, as the bonds of sorrow shattered. And then, in an explosion of brilliance that sent a shockwave through the forsaken structure, they broke free. The darkness evaporated into the night like a fading nightmare, and the children, Sally, the boy, and the others, found themselves standing back outside, bathed in the silver glow of the moon. They were free but forever changed, marked by the scars of their shared trauma. Together, they stood as the remnants of the past unfurled behind them, casting dissipating shadows against the pavement. Yet, a whisper echoed through the night, soft but chilling. You can never truly escape. Turning back, they gazed at the building, which loomed now like a gaping maw, its window flickering with the faint glow of the screen, shadows still lurking at its edges. The children shared a glance, knowing this was not truly over. In the depths of the night, the Boiled One would wait, and its whispers would call out to the lost. But they had survived, together, and together they would face whatever darkness awaited, the echo of laughter mingling with resolve as they walked away, determined to keep each other safe against whatever shadows lay ahead. The moon shone brighter, cloaking the world in silver, a fleeting promise of hope amidst the looming dread, now lingering at the edge of their thoughts. And as they moved into the night, the stories of sorrow faded quietly into the wind, waiting ever so patiently for the next curious soul to wander too close.